Hello everyone and welcome to this week's Grow Wealthy Grooming. I'm your host River Lee. I'm the founder of the Savvy Groomer, where I teach pet professionals personal finance and how to make money grooming, right? Keep more of the money we make, enjoy the, all the fun things about our jobs. So let's go ahead and dive in. And for those of you guys, it's so funny because I just take for granted everyone that comes here knows who I am. If you don't know who I am, definitely check out my Facebook group, check out my Facebook page, look up, oh, darn it, this double mic thing. How about this, Tiffany, is this better? I can't stand this double mic thing. You know what, let me double check. I think I figured out what it is, though. So I have two monitors, and what I think is honestly happening is I think it's picking up from the other monitor. I feel like one of these days I'll get this right. It was really funny because people are like, oh, like you do so great on lives. I'm like, oh, your girl's always a little crazy. Like she's just always trying to get things to work. Okay, yeah, so it's interesting because the output and then the input, USB, boop. It's funny, it's like sound effects, better. Huzzah! One of these days I'll get it right. One of these days I'll do an intro and you guys will be so proud of me. You'll be like, River, you did a great job. I'm like, thank you. I didn't even have the picture up for like 2 minutes in the intro. I'm like, oh, I'm doing so good. None of that. But anyway, if you don't know who I am, you definitely need to check me out because I have a lot of great information. Sometimes I'm a hot mess. I'm a proud, greedy bitch. I'm fine with that. It's all good. So let's go ahead and hop into today's topic. We're going to avoid cookie cutter pricing. So first of all, I want to say thank you to Tiffany for noticing that it is a poodle cookie cutter. I'll show that again so you can see that again. I was so excited when I saw this picture. I was like, you could not have asked for a better picture. So for my little decal, for those of you guys listening, you can't see it, but for those of you guys watching, there's like a little poodle cookie cutter. Now I want to make cookies. I want to make poodle cookies, although they never look cute. They always look really mushy and things like that. Really funny story, actually. If you guys want to know, I was talking with my team, which, by the way, shout out to the Savvy Groomer team, Jasmine of Savvy Groomer Tech, and Quincy, who is my right-hand woman. But there was one time I was baking cookies. I always said I'm very bad at following recipes, which I just kind of, I know what the recipe should be, but I just don't do it. Like I should, but I don't. So one time I was baking cookies and I baked 5 different batches and they kept coming out mushy and crazy looking. And I had no idea what was happening. I mean, not just like mushy, but like the whole pan became like a water, like not water, but it was like, became almost like a brownie sheet because it had just melted. And I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. And people were like, are you using baking soda instead of baking powder? And at first I was like, I don't know, let me try that. And I just kept trying different things. Your girl actually, I was using powdered sugar instead of flour. So I'm not really a cook. I don't think I'll ever really be a cook. I'm okay with that. But it's really funny because whenever I see cookies, that's all I can ever think about is the time that like I literally made 5 batches of cookies and I could not figure out what I had done wrong. And I did not know the difference between flour and powdered sugar. So, maybe not the smartest cookie in the batch, but it was just literally like this like sugary goop. And I was like, man, like I just had no idea what I was doing wrong. And it was so funny because my mom was like, did you try the flour? I'm like, is it bad? I'm like, does flour go bad? She's like, well, just like sniff it. I'm like, yeah, it smells sweet. She's like, flour doesn't smell sweet. I'm like, no. She goes, no. I'm like, what does it smell like? That's about how much I cook. But anyway, let's go ahead and get on today's topic. Avoid cookie cutter pricing. So when we talk about cookie cutter pricing, what I mean, and this is going to be a little bit of a rant, you've all been warned. I'm so sick and tired of watching you guys go into Facebook groups and go, hey, how much do you charge for a once a year Great Pyrenees? And then you're going to get all kinds of different answers from all over the country. And what makes me crazy about it is you don't actually know anything that goes into that pricing, right? Not only do you not know that groomer's skill level, are they a really certified groomer? Have they been grooming for 6 months or 10 years? What products are they using? Are they using Le Pooch or are they using Dawn dish liquid? Are they in a mobile van? Are they in a shop? Are they in a house? Are they house call? Are they in the most ratchet chop shop you've ever seen in your life where they literally have, exposed plywood that, is rotten as a table? Do they have everyone drop off at 9 a.m. and everyone gets picked up at 5? Or do they do the dog one-on-one? I mean, just if we scratch the very surface, when you guys are doing cookie cutter pricing, when you guys are trying to create that pricing based on this cookie cutter bullshit, you're doing our whole industry a disservice. Because you really cannot, Sorry, I'm reading Tiffany's comments. She wrote, Wesley just told me to calm down because I said, "Lay pooch, bitches." Listen, it's so funny because, I love Lay Pooch. Really quick, guys, I love Lay Pooch because when a customer goes, "Oh, I'll go do that at home," you're like, "Sure, here you go." And you pull up the website and it's over $100 a gallon. And they're like, "Jesus Christ." And you're like, "Well, what do you want?" Plus, I actually really like the product. I really do. I like their products for both cats and dogs. I always have. There's definitely some other mid-range products I like, but as far as other nice products, I really like their products. Anyway, always fun and exciting. But yeah, you haven't really taken into account anything. Do they have employees or are they a solopreneur? All of these things you're not taking into account of when you ask someone a price. It's kind of like I use the example of a very good friend of mine who has blonde hair, bleach blonde hair, who I believe she pays about $75 every month and a half, 2 months. And I paid way more for my hair to get bleached. My hair is not broken off. Her hair has broken off. We value different things. They're totally different services. Even though we're getting the same result, which is blonde hair, you can't compare them. They're even done in the same cities and states, but you can't compare them. So I think this is so important. You guys want to create this cookie cutter pricing. Now, I do think as an industry, we need to raise our prices. And we talked a little about this last week, but I just want to, for those of you guys that missed this, most groomers right now are actually not even keeping up with inflation. And if you guys don't know what inflation is, I have it right here. Inflation is a general increase in prices and fall in the purchase value of money. So why is that relevant to the grooming industry, right? It's because if I ask the average groomer in the 1980s, now for those groomers, you don't have to admit that you've been grooming since the 1980s, but let's go 90s, 2000s, 2010s. Guys, that is 40 years ago. We have lots of great groomers who have been grooming for 40 years. And they have not kept up with inflation. Is that their fault? No, because most groomers are not business owners. Well, they're business owners, but they're not business minded. And that's okay. Most of you guys are incredibly talented and you're learning these things. But guys, if you were charging $20 in 1980, just to keep up with inflation, you'd have to charge $65. That's crazy. Just to keep up with inflation. Now let's add in the fact that this groomer, Mindy right here, it's perfect. She's saying she's been grooming 45 years. Mindy's been grooming for 45 years. So not only does she need to keep up with inflation, we need to honor the fact that Mindy, who is an amazing person, that's incredible. That's an amazing achievement. We need to pay her extra for her experience. I mean, and I know what Mindy's doing, so if she wants to do a shout out, Mindy, if you want to put something in the comments, I'll put it on the show because I know you're doing something special. So I'm happy to share that with everybody, and I think that's really wise. But it's incredible. So yeah, she's saying she was charging $40 back then. Exactly. So if you think about that, let me just do the quick math on, if I can pull it up on my thing. So what was $45 in 1980 to today? I know this is how you know it's live, because my poor computer's like, why you do this? So guys, and Mindy, I'm not calling you out. Don't feel like I am. But I just want you to look at, I just did the calculator of how much, and I'm hoping this thing will like load very quickly for me. Because it's so funny. The tough part about my poor computer is because we're streaming on Facebook at the same time that we're doing this. It just gets, it's like, why you do this? I just need a new computer. It's gonna happen. I just feel bad for my poor computer because it's like, it's trying to chug along. It really is. But I want to show you guys, if you guys want in the comments right now while you're waiting, go ahead and post what you guys think. So if $20 in 1980s would be worth $65 today, how much do you think that this would be worth $45 today? While we wait for my poor computer to catch up with us, because I screenshotted it and it's like, I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know why I give it kind of like that George, where did he go? George, where did he go? There we go. I'm going to look at my comments in just 1 second after I load this up. Boop. Okay, so let me pop open my comments again. So here we go. Was charging $40. Tiffany is saying $130. So she's saying $85. So ready, guys? If you charged, and I was wrong. I thought it was $45, but it was, no, you did say $45. Okay. So $45, if you were charging $45 in 1980, you need to charge just for inflation $145. Just for inflation. Not including the 40 years that Mindy has now had on top of that. Think about that. I'm going to say this again. If Mindy was charging $45 in 1980, she should be charging $145 now just to keep up with inflation, guys. That does not include the additional 40 years that she has in education. I'm sure she's done many, many educational things since then. And even if she hasn't gone to any trade shows, which I know she has, guess what? That should be more. She should probably be charging $200 a dog. However, we all know the market's wrong, right? The market says that groom is not worth much more than it was 40 years ago. That's mental. Just to put that in perspective, guys, for those of you guys that are older, you can't mention. Do you guys know what a house cost in 1965? Just to put in perspective, a house in 1965, guys, cost around $21,000. And now that same house will be $340,000. So think about how much that has jumped in housing prices. And now let's consider that grooming really hasn't gone up much at all, has it? It hasn't even kept with inflation. For those of you guys know, I love to use the example of the Poocock, which he's really a doodle, let's be fair here. The Dick Van Dyke Show. If you guys look up the ugliest dog in the world, Dick Van Dyke Show, you will see this episode where he brings in a dog to the groomer, and they were charging $75 in 1965. Again, I love the interaction. Thank you guys so much for being here and playing. How much do you guys think that $75 in 1965 would be worth today? How much do you guys think? And I want to give a shout out to Mindy. She is actually She started a new grooming group on Facebook called Glamour Paws at Home. I really think you guys should check it out. She's doing amazing things. She's starting her own little membership, and so I think that's, if you want to support Mindy, who's been grooming 45 years, y'all, look up on Facebook, Glamour Paws at Home. Mindy's saying right now, you have people doing groom for $35. Absolutely. In today. But guys, in 1965, $75. How much would that be worth today? Mindy, ready? You're saying $350. You ready to see this, guys? $75 in 1965 would be worth $360 today. And then let me clarify too, guys, really quick. What Mindy's doing is actually she's created a membership for owners so that they can maintain their dogs at home in between your grooms. So this is a great membership for you guys. And again, Mindy can explain it more. But I love the idea of having a membership where you can send your clients, say, hey, you want to learn, how to maintain your dog at home? Go do that. Yeah, Tiffany's like, sick. I know, right? But let's look at this, guys. $75 in 1965 to just keep up with inflation. Just to keep up with inflation. $630. As an industry, we're not even that close. We're not anywhere near that. Anywhere near that. Nowhere. And that's just inflation, guys. That's not education. That's not how much better products we're using. That's not how much better we're treating animals. Like, there's good, bad, or indifferent. Good, bad, or indifferent. The level of care animals are getting now. I mean, I grew up in a family where the dogs were basically furniture that ate. I grew up where it was just a given dogs had fleas. It was just a given that dogs got the cheapest, crappiest dog food because, they're dogs. Like, who cares? I mean, that's totally different now. But so think about that. The level of care has gone way up, but we haven't even kept up with inflation. So why does this matter to us? Well, because when we're talking about cookie cutter pricing right here, I want you to consider, does this person even keep up with inflation? Because we saw Mindy, who's an incredibly talented, smart woman, smart businesswoman. She thought she was keeping up with inflation. And she was shocked to find out how wrong she was. And that doesn't make her bad or wrong. It doesn't make anyone bad or wrong. Listen, I didn't know till I looked it up. How was I to know? How was anyone to know? The problem is that what we do is we go on Facebook and we say, hey guys, what are you charging? And they go, I'm charging $35. I'm charging this. And Mindy's saying just keeping up with the market. Exactly. But here's the thing is that a lot of times that market is a race to the bottom. Brittany says, you love my hoodie. Thank you. You can actually get it at groomergifts.com. And if you have anything that you want, this is Groomer. I'm just going to shout out really quick. But Groomer Gifts, I wanted gifts that I would give my friends that are groomers. And so we're more than happy to create anything you guys want. Like, we have a part on our Frenchie. We have tons and fun stuff. We have Snip and Hustle. You guys would absolutely love it. So groomergifts.com. Tiffany's saying, yep, and look at Petco because their sheer number of locations they're pricing. Well, their pricing's done because it's called a loss lead. In Australia, they have, I forget what they call it, but basically you can buy a hot dog in front of hardware stores everywhere, which is so weird. They're like, you just go for $1 sausage. And I'm like, $1 sausage? But they're losing money on the sausage in order to bring you to the hardware store. So then you go buy stuff, and that's the thing is Petco doesn't care if they make money on grooming because they make their money elsewhere. And that's fine. But when we compare ourselves to big box stores, we're going to lose. Erin is saying, that's why I've been trying to beat us into other local groomers in the area. We are always at the bottom. Hot dogs, a hero. Yeah, it's just a cult. Listen, everywhere has cultural things. Sage is saying, yep, our pricing is something we should be evaluating annually since inflation is a lagging indicator. Well, what I find interesting, Sage, is that there's so much involved in the pricing. And again, everyone's afraid to be that expensive group. No one wants to be the most expensive. And I don't really care if I'm the most expensive because I have to do less pets to make the same amount of money. Nobody wins in the race to the bottom. It's so incredibly painful. I'm really proud of one of my coaching clients. I'm proud of them all, but one of them has outgrown me, which is always kind of sad. I don't know if he's watching this or not, but it was amazing because we did this big price increase. We reshifted his entire business. We created a pricing structure around what he wanted for his business, his personal life. No cookie cutter bullshit. We have guidelines. Like, we definitely have a recipe how to make cookies, but then we created it around his taste. And now he's making more money grooming every 4-week dogs that are easier, and he's only going to be grooming 3 days a week. I'm sorry, 3 weeks of the month. So he has an entire week off. He's going to make more money, and all the dogs are the dogs he wants. It's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy that people act like they can't do that. It does take a lot of work. I think we spent 3 months of coaching to do that. And that's why, ready for the plug, guys? It's coming. That sales pitch is coming, guys. I have a 6-week price increase class that's coming up. I really want to encourage you guys to join. If you are interested, I'm going to put Juan. It is you. My good friend Juan Rivera. I'm really excited for him because he's going to be a lot happier. But I want to encourage anybody who isn't ready to invest 3 months of one-on-one coaching, at least to get that framework, to join my 6-week masterclass. We're going to give you the knowledge and give you support to do this. And then if you want one-on-one coaching, we're here for you. But at least then you can start getting rid of that cookie cutter mentality. You can't just say, okay, every small dog should be $100. We need to look at the market. We need to look at what's special about you. We need to figure out like this whole hourly rate thing. And this can be next week's conversation, the hourly versus rate and all that. But a lot of you guys are not actually calculating how much you're going to earn. It's so incredibly important that you are making choices that are best for you and your business. Because your long-term happiness matters. What you want and how you want it is so, so important. And just inflation isn't happening. We're not even keeping up with inflation, guys. I mean, when I see Mindy, who has been grooming 45 years, and I see, hang on, let me pull my thing. Oh God, I think I broke myself. There we go. So, Mindy literally just charged $45 in 1980s. And that means her groom should be $145. I'm going to look up again. I think she charges, she starts at $75, $85, guys. So she is below what she needs to charge. That would be the equivalent of charging basically $25, $30 in 1980. So she really hasn't even been keeping up with inflation. And is that her fault? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But the most important thing here is, okay, what do we do as an industry? And that is we need to make our numbers match what we want in our life, in our business. And that means no more cookie cutter prices. No more, hey guys, how much she charge for a doodle? Because it's irrelevant. I think if you just want like a thermometer reading, that's great. But you don't know if they use Dawn. You don't know if they care what that dog looks like. You would hope, as an industry, I hope the person I'm talking to is a professional and cares about their industry. But we don't know, right? We don't know. And that's what's so important. I also want you guys to stop making things generic. I always teach, in a perfect world, I like teaching points. So a 5-strip Shih Tzu or a 1/2-inch round teddy bear, no major scissoring, easy dog. 1 hour Shih Tzu, maybe an hour 15-minute Shih Tzu is a 2-point dog. 1 point for the bath, 1 point for the haircut. If that dog is a little matted, if that dog is a little jerk, very honestly a little jerk, then I would that would be a 3-point dog. So I need to price it based on that, because I could have 4 Shih Tzus and one, even the easiest dog is still going to be 2 points, because even if you're at your best, a Shih Tzu haircut and a bath is not going to take less than 45 minutes. And if you're that groomer, I wish I was you, because I can't do anything in less than an hour. I just can't. Even a face feet standing, I feel like takes me like an hour-ish. But I'm also a lazy groomer. I really am, guys. Like I feel like I'm really good at like this, because I'm like, I've never been a power groomer. So like the power groomers, I'm like, you're amazing. And then for like the rest of people, I'm like, I get it. Like if I could just groom 5 dogs and get the hell out of there, I get you. I'm definitely that person. Let me catch up on my comments. Juan's saying, I'm not exaggerating when I say River is the best thing that's ever. Oh, my little heart. Oh, thank you, Juan. You just made my day. Sorry, I had to like finish that. Let me try that again. He's saying, I'm not exaggerating when I say River is the best thing that's happened in my business. That makes my heart feel really good. Mindy's saying, I'm not for sure. Yeah, sorry, I'm just reading along. Oh, Hannah. Hannah's saying, River is amazing. My pricing goes into effect tomorrow. I'm so excited. We're the ones that are in our own way. Quit overthinking it and just do it. I agree. I think it's important. Like Hannah, was one of those coaching clients that outgrew me. And it happens, guys. I have coaching clients that they fly the nest, and that's what I want. I don't want you guys. Well, that's not true. I would love to hang out with you guys forever, but that's where we're going to have Savvy Groomer events. It'll be amazing. We're going to be drinking and having fun. That'll be different. But, Hannah and I did a lot of working through her numbers. She's in a very rural area. She does dogs one-on-one. And it's really impossible for her to charge what other chop shops in our area charge. It's not fair. And it's really hard and scary. But oftentimes we find, even if you lost 50% of your clientele, you'd still be making the same amount of money. And I don't think people realize that. That's where things get a little... And now, I'm not saying you should jack things up. And this is where you can't cookie cutter it. You have to look at what you want. It's kind of like, I use the example of Cocker Spaniels. You could have someone who loves Cocker Spaniels. I love well-bred Cocker Spaniels, but even if they were well-bred, I wouldn't want to groom them. That dog needs to have a happy price. But, maybe you love doing them. Maybe you love big dogs and you love grooming those giant doodles. And I would rather literally do anything else. I'd rather do a Wheaton than a big doodle. So this is where my business is going to do that. Now, again, it also depends if you're going to be just you as a solopreneur or you're going to hire people. Because if you're going to hire people, you need to take into account, is that groomer going to enjoy that? And if you're going to have a groomer and you don't know what they're going to enjoy, you need to charge a happy price that they would be happy to do that. And you would be happy to pay them for that. It's incredibly, incredibly important. Mindy's saying, I charge differently for every dog, honestly. Absolutely. And that's where I like to use point systems, because it really takes the emotional side out of it. If a dog is 4 points and it's a tiny Shih Tzu and you love him, but he's Satan, it makes it so much easier. So much easier. Because it's just like, listen, I love you, but this is it. Yeah, Mindy's like, no Wheatons for me. Yeah, it's funny. We used to complain about Puggles and Wheatons and Cockers. We didn't know the plague of doodles was coming. We had no idea. Hannah's saying, I still need you. Oh, River, always. It's just been so crazy. Girl, you got to do what you got to do. I'm here for you. We are going to be starting a group mentoring program in the coming months, and that might be easier. It's going to be a lower price point. It's going to have that same really awesome group feel. I'm really excited. I just need to get through the summer. I might be moving. I'm trying to find a new place. The place I'm in is, I love where I live, but I don't love the people above me. So I might be moving. So I'm kind of like trying to make sure I don't kill my team, because I'm like, here, let's do all this. And they're like, let's not. And I'm like, I think we could figure this out. And it's true. Like, so many people think that they're going to lose a ton of clients. But if you do it the way I suggest it, it really does. It really does work. We do all the groundwork first, and then when we go through, everything's been figured out. Everything just falls into place. I remember, like, it was so funny because Juan was like, he was so funny. He's like, this is like, he kind of got frustrated with me. I could tell. Don't lie. I know you did. And it was like, why are we doing all this? But then when everything came together, it just flowed. So as an industry, guys, there is no cookie cutter prices. What you want, if you're a solopreneur and you groom every dog one-on-one, that is a totally different price point than if I have 15 employees and we're churning out, like when we churned out 40 dogs a day in my grooming salon with 5 employees, that is totally different than something like Hannah's doing. You know, Hannah is going to do the right thing for her business and her family. And that's what she needs to do. And that's just the truth. And it's sad because we shouldn't have to do all this math, but every business is so different. I'm always shocked how, you know, we don't recognize in the grooming industry, like for me, it's been so hard when I'm teaching things to create something that supports my house call, my mobile, my shop people, my feline exclusive people, my membership people. Oh God, Erin's saying she picked a wheat for certification. Girl, I don't even know what to say to you. You're crazy. That's just crazy town. Some people are just gluttons for punishment. I don't even know what to say to that. I'm just like, but you know what? Maybe, you know, then you'll really earn it. You will really earn it. Anyway, guys, so that is my main point about why cookie cutter pricing should be avoided. You know, there's really nothing, you know, it's not like I hate the term apples and oranges, but it really is not applicable. You know, the way, you know, Hannah and Juan have very similar business models. They're both one-on-one. They're both, you know, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but they're similar like that. However, they're in totally different areas of the country. One's in California and one is in a rural area. And you can't compare them. And also, you don't know how much money that Hannah needs to support her family. And we don't know how much Juan needs. And we also don't know who wants like what lifestyle. You know, you're right here. You know, I'm a little bit of a bougie bitch. It's fine. Especially being blonde. I had no idea how much I'd have to invest. This is like the Ferrari or the Doodle. And I'm like, this probably won't last me. I mean, look at this, guys. This is 2 weeks. Look at my roots. This is crazy town. I'm going to have a blonde moment, and then I'm going to get tired of it, and then I'm going to go back to something more reasonable. It'll be fine. But there's nothing we can do that's good with its cookie cutter. We have to look at ourselves as individuals. We don't look at a dog and just stamp. We can do generalities. We can use a generality, right? Generally, a Shih Tzu takes an hour to an hour and 15. Generally, right? And that's how we do it. And I think next week I'm going to go over, you know, pricing by weight, pricing by points, pricing by breed, and how that can, you know, it's because we all ultimately kind of take those things and we kind of figure it out, right? But like we're doing the math in our head. And the tough part with that is we really can't replicate it with our employees because, you know, now that I've been grooming 15 years, Jesus Christ. Getting old, dude. Wow. Anyway. God, I'm getting old. That just kind of hit me for really quick. But anyway. Sage is saying you're just sensitive about your... That's right. I'm not... Here's the thing is, I don't really mind about... I know I have no problem spending my money. So like in Personal Finance on a Leash, guys, which is my 12-week personal finance course for groomers, I openly admit that I spend about $600 a month on Starbucks. Like, I have no problem with that. It's a budget. I budgeted it. I have earned it. And I am more than happy to enjoy it. It's not that I deserve it. I've earned it, and therefore I can spend it. So, yeah, that's really fun. Mindy's saying, I want to hear the point system. that's probably going to have to be a class that I'm going to have to teach in my business membership. That is on our docket. I don't know if we're going to get to it this year because it's actually a lot to teach in the sense of like how to implement it, how to use it, how to gauge it. And it's super effective because it's really easy for you to teach an employee that, the point system. And then it also is really great when you're paying hourly and you want somebody to tell you if a dog needs to be charged more. For instance, if I say to my employee, okay, here's a 2-point Shih Tzu, and halfway through the groom, they go, hey, this dog's really a 3-point dog. And so when the dog's 3-point dog, if I was the receptionist or whoever is in charge of calling the client, we have 2 choices. We can either call the client and say, hey, your dog needs more time, care, and attention, therefore it's going to go up in money. And then we can also, for the next time say, hey, Fluffy took a little extra time. If he continues to behave this way, he will be X amount of dollars next time. Point systems work really easy, and it's also great because you can set your business goals based on the point system. So if my groomer can groom without a bather 7 dogs a day, 7 Shih Tzus, then they would be a 14-point groomer. And the reason I would need to do a whole hour class on it instead of just a live is because that's also how you can figure out your hourly to pay your groomers. I mean, it's a whole system. It's really, really wonderful. I created it for my grooming salon, and I teach it to my coaching clients. But it does take a little bit of like mental gymnastics to understand it. But once you understand it, it's so easy to tell how many points is this dog, how much should it cost, all of that. It makes life so much easier. But that's all I have for you guys today. It was great seeing you. If you are new here and you want to know more about me, I would highly suggest you check out my free Facebook group, Savvy Pet Professionals, right there. And, it's free. You can come hop in. You can network. You can hang out with everybody. We always love people. I know that sounds really weird. Like, we love people. It's just nice to talk with other groomers sometimes. And if you have questions for me, you can always tag me. Hang on really quick. If I can find my face. Where did my face go? Oh my goodness, I lost me. Ah. Oh, there I am. Boop. Sage is saying, did things pick up for your industry in Q1 21 compared to historical? Have you had to shift any marketing strategies? Just curious. So in full disclosure, guys, I had a feeling exclusive. I had originally had a grooming salon with 5 employees, and we did 40 dogs a day. Like super fast paced. We had a dog in every 15 minutes. I had that. I built that up and I sold that. Then I opened up a feeling exclusive mobile business. I sold that mobile business to my mother and my sister. My sister has fibromyalgia and she's a groomer. And my mother is a teacher, and my mother makes more owning the business and not grooming than she does as a teacher. So when I sold the business, it was incredible because my mother has never made more money, which makes me feel really good because in my area, her rent is $1,500. So she basically had $200 a month to live on, and that's just not acceptable. And her retirement's 40%. So basically when she retired, she was going to be in poverty. Oh, and because our state screwed everything up, she can't retire till she's basically in her 70s. So, but they picked up, so we have 2 groomers, 2 full-time groomers, Amy and my sister, and then my mother just learned cat grooming, but they're booked out a month. And I just want to point this out, guys, for them. Originally they were just doing cats, obviously. And they added in dogs. I said, well, if you're going to add in dogs, you need to charge enough for dogs that it makes sense. So there are mobiles in our area that charge between $65 and $100. I would say the average is $85 to $100. They're mobile for dogs they only groom under 20-pound dogs. And they charge for a shave down, a 10 blade nose to tail is $120. Under 20 pounds. That's not aggressive. That's not matted. That's just we want to shave down every 4 weeks. that's what we want. It's $120. If they want something fluffy, let's say 5/8 inch fluffy, not hand scissored, because my sister and Amy are not, they're okay groomers, but they're not a Juan Rivera. They're just never going to be. That's fine. We don't have to be necessarily. It's okay. We should all go on our own paths. But that's $160. And it's all marketing. You know, my mom is really lucky to have me as her marketer and to help her build this business plan. But they're booked out a month in advance. I mean, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible that they have 2 full-time groomers in a mobile van charging top of the market. Top of the market. I mean, I honestly did not think, in all honesty, they were going to get as many dog clients as they did at the price point they were at. I really didn't. And I was shocked. I was shocked that people, and I mean this in the most loving of ways, my sister is an okay groomer. No, she's a very talented groomer, but I'm a mediocre groomer and I taught her. So she's a better groomer than I ever was. No, I'm a better cat groomer. She's a better dog groomer. But she just got trained by Melissa Hall for a week, so now she's a better cat groomer than me, which makes me proud and a little offended at the same time. I should just let it go. But, sometimes you just, you're like, damn it, like I had that and now I don't. But I'm really proud of her. But anyway, long story short, they're charging for a cat bath $100. If they want if someone wants a pug, it's $100. A pug bath is $100. And they have 2 pugs that literally get a bath every 4 weeks. It's incredible. And if you asked me if someone would pay that, I'd be like, I don't know. But that was their happy price. It's like, okay, if we're going to groom dogs, it has to be at this price point. And they're full. And they're going to be hiring another person in July. And it's going to be really easy for them to hire somebody below 30% of take home, which is what we're supposed to be paying, guys. It's going to be easy to do that because even if they paid $30 an hour, they're going to be at their 30%. So what's nice is that it's all marketing. I know it sounds terrible, but do what you do best. What they do best is the dog has never been cleaner. The dogs are really happy and they're consistent, reliable, and that's what their business is good for. And if you have show-stopping grooms, yes, you need to point that out. But in one of my business membership classes, one of my workshops, it was basically, you need to decide what it is that you want to market and just make sure you're okay with the backlash. Like if somebody wants a hand scissor cut, they're not their groomer. But it doesn't matter. They don't need to be everything to everyone. Tiffany's saying they're growing fast. They are growing exponentially. Everyone is growing. Everyone I find that is stepping into their power, which I know sounds really granola crunchy, but like when you flip the script, right? And I keep mentioning Juan, but like we had a really great coaching call today, and it was so funny because it's like he had this doodle owner that was trying to I'm going to go check out elsewhere, and I'm going to tell all my doodle friends, and I told him to like just deadpan go, I understand. And he did that, and I was like, I'm so proud of you. I just want to hug you through the computer. I let him go. There are more than enough people to come around, and don't get me wrong. If there's someone who's a person and says to you, hey, I'm not really understanding what this is going on. Can you just explain it to me? He would be more than happy to explain it to them. Right? Because that's what we do. We're not unreasonable people. It's not their fault. We have not been keeping up with inflation. And it's not our fault that we didn't realize we weren't keeping up with inflation. So this is where we're at, guys. So please stop this cookie cutter bullshit. It does no one any good. And I know that means more work for you guys, but that's okay because you can sign up for my class. And if you guys are a coaching client, you already get that included as long as you're still a coaching client when the price increase class comes on. But it's going to be a great class. And I know $600 sounds like a lot, but don't worry. There are payment plans available. You could always do the PayPal pay later option. And you and PayPal can figure that out. But I am so exciting. Yes. So exciting. Mindy's saying price increase on the way once my bus is back up and running. Absolutely. You know, make sure you have the layers. What's nice about the price increase class is we're also going to have scripts. We're going to have strategies on how to tell the clients, because you can't, people are like, I'll just like tell them, F you, we're going up. I'm like, you really need to layer, because it really does make it makes it easier. You know, yes, we can just up our price, but grooming is based on relationships. And if you want to have a relationship with your clients, you need to foster that and be respectful of that. So anyway, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm definitely going to take into account that you guys are interested in the point system. I'm working on I have worked on an outline for that, but I will make sure that my poor virtual assistant knows that we should add that in as well at some point. There's really be difficult to do that for a live. There's just too much involved there. We'd really have to do it. Yes, scripts are so important. I'm telling you, having scripts and have scripts that are then, don't forget guys, in the price increase class, it's from 7 p.m. Eastern till 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Sundays. So the actual learning is about 30 minutes to an hour long each time. So then we're going to have what are called spotlight questions. So let's say Tiffany says, hey, my business is an at my house business. It's this, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I go, okay, well, it sounds like your brand is more homey. It's more comfortable. We're going to make sure that we add that in. We're going to add that in to her script and help her personalize her script. And that's what I like about doing this master class. It's going to be higher than, you know, a regular class, but it's going to allow me to help you guys one-on-one in the group so you can learn from each other. Sage is saying, yep, sometimes you got to walk away, not worth the hassle. And she's saying, know your worth. I will always say, and I know it's kind of like silly to say, but I just want to say it for those that need to hear it. I don't think Sage is one of those people, but for those listening, I get really nervous when people say know your worth, because when we say charge what you're worth, that's a prostitute. We're not prostitutes. So charge what your services are worth or your skill set is worth. For those that need to hear that. A lot of you guys keep saying charge what I'm worth, and then when people won't pay it, you feel like it's a personal attack. So yes, I know exactly what Sage means. I'm sure Sage is a very strong, independent woman, and she doesn't need to hear that. But anyone who does need to hear that, I don't want you to use the phrase, if you can, charge what you're worth or know what you're worth. Say you know what your skill is worth or what your grooming is worth. I think it's so important for our mental health. I suffer from depression and mental health issues. I have had suicidal ideation. So I say this because for those of us that have a lot of potential self-hate, I have this little voice in my head that really hates me. So I have to be careful what I feed it, because it'll latch on to things and be like, oh, see, they're not willing to pay you. That's because you're not worth anything. You're worthless. I mean, my little voice in my head says all the time to me, no one wants to hear what you have to say on these lives. Why are you going on? Who cares? Nobody wants to hear you. And it's just this little evil voice in my head that I have to ignore. But I do what I can. I do the best that I can. I'm only one person. You know, I just do what I am. Yes, Deborah's saying yes, skill set worth. Tiffany's saying yes, it can be hard to separate person from business worth. It is, and that's kind of because like that's also why we have trouble increasing prices, right? Because we want customers to love us. So, you know, and it gets sticky. Deborah's saying, I'm so happy to have found you and appreciate what you all. Thank you, girl. I'm here for everyone. As an industry, we're here. And I really do appreciate when you guys say things like that. Like, I don't need a lot of compliments and things like that. But sometimes, like, I do say, why do I do this? Not like in a negative way, but just in I will always have mental health issues. It's fine. It is what it is. Please, guys, subscribe, share my YouTube channel. As soon as we get 1,000 people, we can monetize this. I will be going live for free twice a week. So if we can get us up to 1,000 people and monetize this channel, I will be live with you guys for free 2 times a week. Can I help you, young man? My cat is just being a being a cat. He's like, it's over. The show's over. So I'm actually going to go hop into my live on personal finance leash, which is my 12-week personal finance class. So I do have to love you and leave you guys. And I will see you next week. If you guys need anything, you can find me in my groups. You can find me on my Facebook page. And you can always hop on a 30-minute virtual coffee. My calendar is on, on my Facebook page. It is also on my website. So there's lots of places to find that. All right, guys. Well, today's show, I'm like, I always lose my scenes. This is the tough part. I'm always trying to So today's show was all about avoid cookie cutter pricing. My cat just went, what? I was like, don't you throw up, I swear to God. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. And as always, happy grooming.